Stick to the lane of Web3 investing, actually, and just speak further as to why Web3 investing is important to drive Africa's industrial innovation. And that discussion and that topic will be addressed to us by Yosuke Yoshida. He is the co-CEO of EMURGO, MEA, and Yosuke, looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
So hi everyone. First of all, let me introduce who we are. So EMURGO is one of the founding entities and the company who is structuring the Cardano project, the layer 1 blockchain. The other two are Cardano Foundation and Input Output, which is led by Charles Hoskinson. So three of us, we structure Cardano, we founded Cardano, and we run Cardano. What we do, what EMURGO does, we are the commercialization arm. We're taking care of the business side. So we invest in projects, we accelerate them. We also create some infrastructure layer applications on top of Cardano. We want to expand the Cardano ecosystem on the business side. That's what we do. By being the CEO of EMURGO Middle East and Africa, 2 years ago, we have started an operation in the African region. We've announced a 100 million investment, fully self-funded, to be spent in this region in the coming 3 years. This was announced 2 years ago. We are now working on it. And today, the topic that I'm supposed to talk about is why Web3 in Africa, and I'll just straightly go into that topic. To answer that question very shortly, because it makes more sense. Because the technology of blockchain, it makes much more sense here in Africa rather than the other part of the developed world. More than Japan, more than the United States, more than UK. The technology itself makes much more sense here in Africa. For example, the stablecoin. It's a nice to have in Tokyo, in New York. It's nice to have, but it's not like something you really need. It's something that's not really necessary. You can live without it. People are satisfied with banks. It's pretty much working. But for example, in Nigeria, stablecoin is becoming one of the real solutions to change their people's daily life. When they don't have access to banks. Yeah, this like something that is really challenging the real issues, solving real problems. That's one example. For example, real estate. I know a project where they want to bring in blockchain to real estate. They want to bring in transparency. They want to avoid this double registration issues. Fine. If I talk about that with my friend in Tokyo, he's like, okay, fine, avoid double registration, fine, but Yosuke, you know, there is no double registration issues in Japan, right? And I'm like, yeah, there is no issues. So that's the reality. But in Nigeria, again, or in any other, somewhere else in Africa, for example, Nigeria, I think only 20% of the property is registered under the authority. The rest of the 80%, you're not really sure whether you really own the land, even if you have the contract. My friend actually owns a property in somewhere in Africa, and he tells me, it's kind of a joke, but it sounds funny to me, but it's pretty serious. He tells me that he has all the papers, he has all the contract, all the agreements, but he's not really sure whether he really owns it until one day he's able to sell the property to someone and he sees all the figures in the bank account. Until that day comes, he's not really sure whether he really owns it. That's the situation. And blockchain can solve these problems by bringing in transparency and trust. So yeah, we can talk about this. We can talk about what's going on in DeFi, NFTs, GameFi, whatever. But today, since this is a good opportunity, I just want to come back to this question from a little bit different, from the other way around. So not I think like how we can utilize blockchain. I want to think the other way around. What it means is that I think we're in the era where we are about to, or maybe we are already, opening up the door of the next generation or next era, which is called Web3. Maybe it sounds a little bit overstating, but I think it's where we are. Let's go back to Web 1 and Web 2, before talking about what's happening now. So it's hard to remember what it was like in like 20 years ago when Web 1 started. But you know, we used to see things on the screen. That was the internet, right? Instead of papers. We used to see screens and get information through papers. People say that, oh, I like papers because my eye gets tired. What is the internet? Like that's Web 1, right? We receive information. But when it goes to Web 2, and after 20 years, now we see what it really meant, what internet really meant. So, for example, there was no one called influencers. You remember that, right? There was no YouTubers, right? None of them. But there's a lot of those people now, and even a teenager, they can speak loud to the public now. That's the power of Web 2. Yeah, and if you say that, oh, I don't do any kind of SNS. I'm not really related to Web 2. I'm not. Fine, but it's not true, because if you don't, your friends are, your parents are, your kids are. So indirectly, you are influenced, you are affected with this whole Web 2 space. And I don't think it's really overstating that the world has kind of changed from the Web 1 world to Web 2 world. It has changed a lot. And how we spend the time, like, I think I spend more than like 5 hours while I'm awoke in some kind of SNS, because I also use it for work. So I'm like always kind of doing something with some kind of SNS. That's how I spend the time now, which I didn't in 20 years ago. It's very, something happened, a big change from what I used to spend time for. So, yeah. And what I think is that, yeah, Web 1 to Web 2, that's a big change, but I think the next change, the Web 2 to Web 3, which we're about to open the world, actually it's kind of starting already, but it's an even much bigger change for us. Web 1 to Web 2, well, fine, the world pretty much changed, but Web 2, Web 3, it's another, not even a comparable change from Web 1 to Web 2, Web 3. It's a massive change that we will be noticing. I think from 20, 30 years in the future from now, we will look back, it's like, what, it's 2023 now, right? Oh, it's a completely, I strongly believe that it's gonna be a completely different world. And again, why we want to do it in Africa? Because I believe, and we believe, that this changing in the world, we believe that it's gonna start here in Africa. It's not gonna start in New York, it's not gonna start in Tokyo, not in London. It's gonna start here because it really makes sense here. And so we want to start it here, make the changes here, and export to the rest of the part of the world. Oh, these are the use cases. This is how to change. This is gonna happen in the rest of the world. It's gonna start here. That's what we believe. So that's why we, yeah, we're very serious in the market. Putting a lot of efforts here. And I don't think the general public really notices about what's going on here in the Web3 space, but I believe the people here, we believe in that. That's why we're here now today, I guess. And yeah, we want to make that happen. We are spending a lot of resources in this market, but we don't believe that we will be able to do everything by ourselves. We need partners. One of them, Adania Labs, led by John Kamara. this is a very capable venture studio and incubation kind of company. They have roughly around 100 startups that they have been supporting. They are one of the companies that we are working with together to explore the market, to make changes. Another one is Adabus. Maybe you have heard about them. This is a joint venture between Everest Ventures, which is a Hong Kong-based VC. We set up this joint venture to explore the market together. They can bring in the expertise in tokenization, token advisory, and yeah, that's how we work together. Another example is this Japanese, I think the most active VC coming from Japan, most active VC in the market in Africa, coming from Japan. We set up a joint venture called EMURGO Ventures. And this is another way we work with partners. So we want to work with other capable partners to make it happen. And yeah, as I mentioned, we started roughly 1.5 years ago, and we've already invested in more than 40 companies. Yeah, we're expanding our network. We're doing a lot. We're partnering with a lot of companies. So if you believe in Web3, if you believe that it's going to happen here in Africa, we're happy to talk with you. We're happy to make it happen together. Okay, this is our last slide. So we've recently started our Twitter. A few months ago, we started this. We've launching things that we are working on. Please, if possible, follow us. And also, I'm here. Otherverse guys are here. Adanian Labs guys are here. Kippo guys are here. So reach out to us and let's do something great together. Thank you very much.